Today, I'm going to put you in somebody else's shoes. Imagine you are a young, healthy, and productive woman, but suddenly your life is snatched by stroke. The most devastating chapter of your life, that day, today, tomorrow, and forever. The most global health issues in this 21st century. I couldn't speak, I couldn't read, I couldn't talk, I couldn't walk, couldn't get out of bed. What a limited life. My name is Dame Elizabeth from Indonesia. On behalf of my research team, Dr. Michelle Honey and Dr. Julius Lark from New Zealand, we'd like to present our paper entitled Young Woman Experiences of Stroke, a Qualitative Study, Development of Future Stroke Rehabilitation Support for Young Women. Thank you so much for Pi Gamma Chapter, Sigma Theta Tau, for the chance and opportunity to receive the grant for Academic Research 2022. So the outline of our presentation today are background, objective, material and methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. For 3 decades, stroke has been a significant global burden in terms of incidence, death, prevalence, and disability-adjusted life years. Recent statistics show that hospitalization rates of stroke in younger adults increased dramatically by 44%. The 2022 Global Stroke Vaccine reports stroke incidence for women, about 6.4 million, exceeded that of men, 5.8 million. Similar to the trends in stroke prevalence between women, 56.4 million, and men, 45 million. A meta-analysis of 13 high-quality stroke studies confirmed that women consistently experience more significant long-term mortality than males following stroke. Young women who survive stroke have worse outcomes, with a 2 to 3-fold higher risk of poor functional effects than men. Meta-analysis describe women as disproportionately impacted by stroke due to female-specific risk factors. They are more disabled and have poorer quality of life. So the objective of our study to explore the experiences of young women who have had stroke to understand their burden and also the support needs. This study uses qualitative descriptive using focus group discussion for data collection because this method is appropriate for exploring experiences, thoughts, and ideas about specific topics through discussion. Eligible focus group participants consisted of women with a past or current diagnosis of any stroke who are aged 18 to 64 years old when they experienced their stroke and were legally able consent. This project received ethical approval from the University of Auckland, and participants could participate in person or via video conferencing. And we use thematic analysis by Brown and Clark. So the 5 females who participated in this focus group range from 6 to 18 years post-stroke, with most being 6 to 9 years post-stroke, and their current age range from 29 to 69 years. So as a result, 4 themes emerged from the analysis. First, impact of stroke. Second, women's reproductive health. The third one, self-management. And the last one, support. These themes and 11 sub-themes are now we describe using illustrative words. The most dominant theme across all the participants was the impact of stroke. The participants described having a stroke as a moment that suddenly changed their entire previously busy, independent, and productive lives. These impacts were multiple, affecting every part of the participants' lives. Most participants found it very challenging when describing their reaction to being informed they had a stroke. There were some expressions of denial, especially for fit, active, and without risk factors. This is shown in these following quotes. I was too young, too fit, didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do drugs, didn't do anything. And then they came and talked to me and I burst into tears. When they told me I had a stroke, I was in denial that I had my stroke because I think I was so sporty and active. And a stroke happens to someone who doesn't look after themselves. Participants talk about the impact of their stroke related to speaking, communicating, and vision by saying, I couldn't speak, I couldn't read, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't look. I couldn't use a phone or my phone, any phone. And one participant illustrated the most common physical problems related to motor function, movement, and balance. She says, one side is strong, really strong. My right hand side is strong, but my left hand side is probably the age of about 75 years old. Stroke then also affected the psychosocial aspect of their lives. Participants, irrespective of their age, share psychosocial effect after their stroke. For example, a younger participant said, I was very much in denial about the fact that I had my stroke, not being able to do everything that my friends were doing. An older participant shared about her loss of confidence, saying, and I think the stroke took so much my confidence. The woman described experiencing serious impact of stroke on their roles and career, though some initially tried to continue as before. I tried hard and it didn't work. And then I was trying hard to get back to my quality role, and that didn't work either. So now I don't work. And to lose my confidence after being a fully fledged businesswoman for my entire life, never being unable to make a decision, I have never been unable to do what I wanted. Getting pregnant at a young reproductive age became a big concern for this young woman after a stroke. One participant shared how she worried earlier about whether to have children because she was on medication. She said, I've got anticardiolipin in my blood, so there was a high risk of me aborting or losing children. Being a woman and menstruating is a normal event. And while the contraceptive pill is commonly used for birth control, in some situations, such as prolonged or heavy periods, the use of the contraceptive pill may contribute to stroke risk. One participant explained how using the pill was her only risk factor and that she knew someone else who had a stroke also had the same risk factor. I was on the pill for heavy periods, just like the norm, so that was my only risk factors. Overall, the participants were keen to manage their health and remain healthy after their stroke, motivated by being a woman. Their commitment to maintaining their health was through health monitoring and self-care. And every single day, I do still rehabilitate myself. We still challenge ourselves as to rehabilitation. We challenge with everything. I monitor myself at home. I do it because I'm brittle. I do mine once a week, but I go to the lab. The women stroke survivors in this study described needing long-term support and funding for life after stroke. They realize internal from their motivation or partner and family, and external support have helped them cope with their days post-stroke. Participants describe how the internal support from partners, family, or even their motivation was powerful and helpful. You have to challenge yourself, do stuff you've never done before. External support was the support from outside the woman and her close family and friends. The woman described essential external support as the stroke support group. Many of them attended. Here, women made connections and supported each other. We have a stroke support group, and I kind of coordinate it, and that gives me a real sense of purpose. Contrasting to that, there are statements from women stroke survivors. I never had any help either. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I phoned, my partner did because I couldn't use a phone. All I could do was breathe. That was it, because the stroke had taken them. I got no rehabilitation at all. Unlike stroke survivors who live in the city, some survivors who live outside of town or in a rural area expressed that they had limited access to rehabilitation, which made them feel very isolated. A further suggestion from participants included having an app or some software that could help them manage their recovery based on their limitations and difficulties. So, for our discussion, women not only have the burden of typical symptoms, but also atypical symptoms, such as headaches, mental status changes, and dizziness more frequently than men. Due to these atypical initial symptoms, participants experience frustration when facing uncertainty from health workers and misdiagnosis. Similar to review that noted the frequent misdiagnosis of young female stroke patients, this can lead to missed opportunities for early treatment, rehabilitation, and prevention of recurrent stroke. In addition to the physical impacts, participants in the study described psychosocial disturbances, such as denial because of the inability to do everything others can, loss of confidence, reduced functional independence, and hopelessness. The rate of depression in young women after stroke is almost double that of depression among men. The physical and psychological impact experienced by women after stroke at a young age seriously impact their role and career as a woman. A recent meta-analysis also reported oral contraceptive, even in low doses and regular use, increase the risk of ischemic stroke. In their current guidelines, the European Stroke Organization also admits that pregnancy is one of 3 vulnerable periods for women to an ischemic event. The use of anticoagulant is somehow effective for stroke primary prevention. However, it is also associated with an increased risk of bleeding. This finding is similar to studies among African Caribbean women, where self-motivation became a strong coping mechanism for living life after a stroke. Furthermore, another study describes women as having a specific character trait of striving to master an uncertain and unpredictable life post-stroke. More specifically, the participants in the study described how they needed internal and external support for their longer-term well-being. Similar to the recommendation of systematic reviews on the need for the collaboration from multidisciplinary stroke teams to include stroke survivors, caregivers, healthcare providers, health services, and existing community stroke support structures to best meet stroke survivors' self-management needs. Self-management strategies using goal setting, may help stroke survivors regain physical and emotional functions and lowering their risk of recurrent stroke. Participants from this study reported that peer support through stroke support group was a significant benefit. This is in line with literature that suggests peer support improves physical and psychological outcomes. So as a conclusion, the stroke burden experienced by young women is more complex, but less explored. The study identified 4 main themes: the complex impacts of stroke on women at a young age, the specific correlation with women's reproductive health, the specific challenges in post-stroke self-management, the correlation with women's reproductive health, and the importance of internal and external support. So there is a need to develop specific algorithms for women, starting from prevention, treatment, and support for more effective stroke rehabilitation in the future. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you. Kia ora. Terima kasih.